Greetings, fellow slingers. Welcome back to the show. Well, this is the episode you've all been waiting for. I know I have. Episode 63 of our Dragon's Demand run-through from a book that's literally 64 pages long. Damn. And this is Season 6, by the way. And we just wrapped up Season 10 of another AP, 7 through 10, where actually our Delta Green scenarios. But still, I mean, this... Now don't get me wrong. I had some wonderful times while running this AP, and we'll find out about this during the after-action report that you'll hear following this episode. But there have been quite a few developments since it began. First of all, we started the AP in November of 2020 with Episode 1, We Were Defending What? And of course, as anybody that's on the planet Earth knows, that was during our planetary shutdown. But we got the ball started, and along that way, we had a few other developments. I moved from the West Coast to the East Coast. We also lost or dropped a few slingers, depending on your point of view, but we gained a few others as well. And guess what? We're still pumping out the material. And I know I covered quite a bit of this on the after action report for this season, but as your trusted GM and facilitator, I want to add a few things up front. Number one, we have a new AP, which will already be several episodes in the can by the time this airs. What's the AP? Well, I'm glad you asked. It's called Bloodlords Book 1, Zombie Feast, for the Pathfinder 2E rules set. Number 2, we got an addition to the Hardslinger roster. You've heard him before on our Delta Green run-throughs, and he's made a few guest appearances on our other adventure paths. Samwise Didier, famed artist, world-renowned, as well as creator of the show's logo. Sammy and I go back decades playing D&D, just like Chris and I do, and Tone and I do, so it's going to be nice to have him on in a more consistent role, running the whole AP with us. So make sure you give him a shout out. Speaking of giving a shout out, number 3, we're still looking at peppering our lineup with adventure paths from other systems and other editions, and yes, adding other slingers to join us. So if that's something you might like to join in on, then be sure to email me at rollthehard20podcast@gmail.com, touch base with me, and let's get a feel for whether or not you'll be a good fit for the Hardslinger roster. With that being said, let's warm up our dice and top off our glass as we barrel this bitch across the finish line with episode 63 of our Dragon's Demand run-through. I love a good sunset. Okay. Junior, why don't you talk for me?
Hello. You hear me?
Talking? Okay.
Everything sounding good?
He's good. What about you, Dave?
How's that?
Yeah, we're good. We're solid.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, we're good. All right.
Hello.
With the new AP, I want to make sure we treat it as dangerous and to try to keep the tongue in cheek down a little bit. I want to kind of give it that carrion crown death feel because after all, we're in like the land of the undead, kind of make right.
Give it spooky feelings.
Do we want to do video bios or audio bios of like 10 minutes blurbs of each character? If we do one, we got to do them all.
What's that, brother? Record it?
Yeah.
Or because we can just do them and put them on your site, right? Our 20 site?
But we'll do it as like an interview kind of thing.
Oh, okay.
Like you and I will talk, or Chris and I will talk, or Radke or Junior, or one of you guys could talk to each other, or whatever. It doesn't matter to me. Probably best on mine because I got to save the video so I can pull the audio out of it.
Up to you. I'm down with whatever. It's all about the cheddar, baby.
What do you guys think?
I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah?
This for the new one?
Yeah, for the new AP. Just like a 5-10 minute blurb at the most.
Yeah, concept.
So you guys could
show
kinda,
enough.
You could kind of write your bios down, how you came to the conclusion of what you wanted to do, what you think is so cool about him, and kind of give a little bit of backstory at the same time with that too. Does everyone feel comfortable with what their characters can do and their characters themselves in the new AP?
I'm a little worried about healing because she is a Dampier.
Yeah, I was looking at some of that stuff too, and I just want to let you know, like a lot of these undead, some of them can be healed by negative damage. And I would think that being a Dampier, you would probably know that though.
And it says that it's a good race to play in the AP. So I'm assuming they've got stuff worked in for people that are that way, but I don't know. And not telling you job, but you may think about that as your
Don't tell me what to
adding shit.
fucking do.
I know.
I'm gonna fuck your
I'm
guy
not
up
not,
anyways.
not telling you what to do or anything.
I'm glad that I named my character Khan. We've all seemed to enjoy that every once in a while, just yelling Khan.
And that might be cool. It's like a rallying cry. Like if he goes down, Khan, I can't help you. Anyways, so how's everyone doing lately?
We
Good,
should probably
man.
be asking you that.
I'm doing fine.
Yeah, for real.
Got a lot of calls. I mean, I think Ratke and I'm more south than you are, Ratke, but it didn't even really bother me. I mean, we
Nice.
had some winds, we had some rain, and we got through a lot of series of shows on TV. I got through season 3 of 12 Monkeys.
Okay.
Good show. I
Oh,
like that show.
nice.
Oh yeah, I'm on season 4, getting through the home stretch at this point. But yeah, other than that, they closed the dealership for I think 3 days, and I told my boss, "Hey, are we going back to work the next day because I'm running out of rooms to get hammered in this house." And it was true. So it's like
He's like, me too.
I got right. I got to get back to work. I'm fucking going crazy here, but yeah. Other than that, things are good. Everybody else
What
have a
about
good
Matt?
week.
Brandy and your daughter, they're good. Like they weren't going
yeah.
stir crazy and shit.
Yeah, no, everybody's fine. I think my wife started hitting the white claws at about 12:30 in the afternoon,
Nice.
followed by
Well,
vino chasers.
We're in here for the long haul.
Hell
It's
yeah.
like COVID 2.0, you know. only
Welcome
on
to Florida.
Yeah, right. Totally. Got to get our Floridian impact. I think one day I stayed in my pajama bottoms and didn't take a shower all day. I looked total. I was starting to egress into Florida, man.
That's
Like
right.
a
You're just
hobo.
like sniff test. You're just like, I didn't do much today. I'm good.
No,
Like,
I was
maybe
okay.
we should try meth. You know, why not?
You know, I
hear-
heard it's
I
not
heard
that bad. It might have got a bad rap, but it's okay.
It saves you money on toothpaste after a while.
I guess so too.
And I
Explains the
wanted to say,
tinfoil on
Junior,
your, yeah.
how's those dragon crossbow bolts doing that you have that we should definitely use tonight?
Yeah, gonna be using them.
Real quick before we begin, I would like to give a shout out to our newest YouTube subscribers, Bruce Wilson 77 and Matthew Genest. Both of you got to be patient as this episode is still weeks away from being aired, but let's give them a good digital rage room welcome. Welcome, Doug.
welcome to your
doom. So, let me lead us in proper. Greetings, fellow slingers. Welcome back to Roll the Hard 20 podcast. It is I, your trusted GM Brian, and with me, the Hard Slingers.
Yes.
Damn
Guten
straight.
Tag.
Episode 63 of our Dragon's Demand run through. This is it. This is it. This is what we have been waiting for. So, after procuring the weapons from Tula's crypt, the three of you, now down one of your number, exit the crypt as daylight begins to wane. And in the dying light, you make out a dark, wafting cloud rising from the direction of the town of Belhaim, the same direction from which you see a lone figure making haste towards you, Heinrich. He begins to inform you that the town is under attack by Teperax the dragon with fire drakes and flying minions at his command. But no sooner is this information dispensed to you when the dragon of the hour arrives, presenting to all of you the Baroness in his claw. He ripped her in half and dropped her to the moist dirt below. And the battle began. A battle now well underway, which will decide the fate of many in the town of Belhaim. Last session's final attack was performed by Heinrich, who, using an arrow of dragon slaying, rolled a hard 20. The dragon
yes.
failed his con save and was inflicted by double the dice rolled making it 16d8 for a total of 98 points of damage. Damn edge. Hell yeah. And that is where we will pick up. Dempsey, you see Heinrich launch this arrow out of the bow, the very same arrow you had just given him. You watch this arrow strike true. You see this dragon wince, kind of reel back. You can tell he is in pain. You are currently to his west flank, about 35 feet from him. He is currently 20 feet in the air. What would you like to do, Dempsey?
So Dempsey is, still doing strategy. He's looking at the whole battlefield. He knows that dragon sword that Valadier dropped is just sitting on the ground waiting to get picked up. So he's just going to take off and sprint. He's going to move all the way to Valadier, and you see him like put his foot under the sword, and it flips up, and he grabs it out of the air, and then he's going to move over. So he's going to be position himself. He's not going to be able to take an attack, but he's got the sword in his hand. He's got the look in his eye, just ready to attack this thing if it comes close. But he's going to get into the front of put himself in front of Valadier and Tomy. So he's going to come position himself the closest to the dragon, because he's got the armor, he's got the sword, he's ready, and he's just like, come on, motherfucker, let's go. He's turning Russian now.
But you're getting the sword from Valadier, right?
Yep. So his whole thing, he's gonna first action is gonna be run to Valadier, grab the sword as an object interaction, and then he's gonna run over and try to make himself a target for the dragon.
Okay.
The dragon is in the air?
The dragon is in the air.
Yes.
In fact, the dragon sees all this going on, all at the same
Very
time. And I think the dragon, last I checked, in fact, it was last session, you heard him draw in this intake of air. Look down. You disappoint me. You should have laid down your arms. How dare you take up against me? You see him hold his paw up, gently hovering, probably within 30 feet of Dempsey. And you see this 5-foot diameter sphere appear right next to you, Dempsey. I'm going to need you to make a dex save for me, please.
Ooh, that's going to be a 14.
That is not going to make it, my friend. You take 7 points of fire damage, and then you see the dragon disappear, vanish. Valadier, you've watched Dempsey run over to you, grab the sword, stand off against the dragon. You see this ball of fire just appear right next to Dempsey. And then you see the dragon disappear. What would you like to do?
Do you think it's gone? Dempsey, do you see it?
I can't see anything. Gizzy, can we perceive if it's still there? Is there like the flapping of wings?
Make your perception check.
Let's see. I got a 12.
12,
Ooh, that's actually going to do 23.
23.
Very nice.
Dempsey, you're still winded from having ran. But Valadier, you've been standing still for a moment, and you can still feel a slight buffet of the wind about you, and you can even pick out a deep guttural breathing somewhere in the air above you. Really difficult to pinpoint exactly where it's coming from, though.
Dempsey, I don't think it's gone all the way, but I don't think it's a good idea to be standing around. At that point, I would like to place hand on his shoulder and cast Cure Wounds to Dempsey, giving him 9 points of healing, and I'm going to try to fan out and move away from...
Sorry. Is that a touch spell?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so you'll move forward to him then?
Yes. I'll move forward to him and then use the rest of my movement to kind of not be in a cluster in case the dragon comes down.
Is that flaming ball still there?
It is
Brian?
still there. It's 5
just-
feet in diameter, right next to you.
The heat coming off like a grill on the 4th of July.
Mm-hmm. Sure is. Hot as fuck. 7 points of heat right up your ass right now. Padre, you see all this unfolding in front of you. What would you like to do?
I want to get out of the open, so I'm going to move to the west, towards the dragon head skull, and I'm going to try to take some refuge behind one of the horns, the one like south of just to get some cover.
Heinrich, you see the players begin to mill about on the field of battle. What would you like to do, Heinrich? Because you don't see the dragon any longer.
I will do the perception check. He's gone. Can I hear? That is only a 12.
You feel a little bit of wind buffering you. But then again, at this time of night, it's windy all around, but it's very gradual. He might be in the sky, he may not be, he might have left. Is there anything else you'd like to do besides, you got all kinds of things you can do.
How far is it between me and is that Dempsey, the next closest?
I'm going to say he's probably about 30 feet away from you.
All right, that's good. Okay. Well, two can play that game. All right. I will cast invisibility on myself.
Nice.
Damn. You want to move or you want to
See
stay where
how
you are?
the dragon does with this.
Do you want to stay there or you want to move?
I actually want to move south like a full move, but hold my attack just in case he lands and pounces on me.
Okay.
I want to separate us as much as possible for breath attacks and things like that. And then
Dempsey.
I will hold.
Dempsey.
All right.
Looks
This
like
is gonna,
everybody's starting to scatter on the field of battle here. I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. Might keep you guys from being bunched up, but
I think he's looking around at the other guys, and he's, all these other guys have magic, and he doesn't. He's just like, bring them back. Bring them back. And he's like, fuck it. I'll do it myself. You said this guy is 20 feet in the air?
last time when he was hovering where everyone could see, he was 20 feet in the air before he went invisible. So whether or not he's still 20 feet, whether or not he's still there, maybe he's moved, maybe he's gone higher, maybe he's gone to ground.
I think even with the 18th strength, this is the metagaming, I'm only able to jump up and grab something 16.2 feet off the ground. And Dempsey may be not intelligent, but he understands fighting. He understands combat. So he's just going to try to get this thing to come down. Could I try to antagonize him? Like, come down, fight me. Fight. Fuck this magic. Come here.
Sure.
You want me to roll intimidation?
Yeah, go right ahead. Roll
All
intimidation.
right, come on. That is a 17.
You hear somewhere in the sky above you. That may work on lesser beings, stupid human. You'll have to try harder than that to get what I am. But don't worry, Bicep Man. I'll be down soon enough for you.
We all hear this?
Make a perception check, because it almost sounds like it's pretty close to him. In fact, you guys can all make a perception check to see if everybody's hearing this.
I think this is just making him mad, and he's gonna rage again. So if he,
I rolled 21. Mm-hmm.
So Heinrich, you do hear this.
Okay. Does it sound like he's still in the same vicinity?
No, it does not, in fact.
Okay.
it's like the equivalent of Dempsey screaming at like a brick wall. He's like, I'm gonna come up there.
Dempsey, keep him busy.
What am I
Be what we
moving
like
here?
to say, bait.
The
What are you trying
priest,
to do?
the cleric, does he have the armor? Or is he just hiding like a little schoolgirl?
Quiet.
Oh, he just used his middle finger to scratch. That means something.
Dempsey, you stayed there.
Yes, sir. He's just waiting for his.
Well, before you hear anything else, that flaming sphere is going to give you another 11 points of damage as you remain next to it. He then appears right next to you,
Yes, motherfucker.
20 feet up in the air still.
Let's see.
Don't worry, he's coming down for a moment.
He's got to land somehow.
Yeah. He actually does land right next to you and attempts a bite to start because we want to see what Dempsey tastes like.
Bunch of hot dogs.
20 to hit.
That's a hit, baby.
That's going to be a hit. And I'm
Fine.
I'm sorry about this, Dempsey, my friend,
Good to
because
go.
I don't want to seem like I'm overzealous on this.
This is what? Piercing?
Yeah, this is piercing. So this is
I'm
going to be... You're raging?
I'm
All
about to be
right.
ready.
24 points of piercing damage. And then you start feeling this ooze going through your body as you take 5 points of poison. As he's right next to you, doing this to you, he says, "Don't forget the claw." And he brings the claw down too. For 14. Is that going to miss?
14 is going to be a miss.
Going to miss.
He starts laughing. Big mistake.
What are you going to do?
Is it my turn?
Valadir. Sorry. Valadir.
Luckily, Valadir's opportunity to take a shot has now presented itself.
Remember that you have a plus to Dex.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Was
that's
that a,
right. Yeah.
I think it was a +4 to Dex.
+4 to Dex. This is going to be good.
Fuck him up.
Yeah, you
That is-
had. Hold on though. You have advantage also. So you had Cat's Grace. Target has advantage on dexterity checks. So it's advantage is what you get.
On
Dex
saving Dex, okay.
on dexterity checks. Anything that's a dex check, you have advantage on.
All right. Perfect. +4, that is going to be...
What are you using to shoot, by the way?
I'm using the crossbow of +3, the
Okay.
one that we got, and the +2 dragon bolts.
Okay.
So that is going to be 21 to hit.
Oh, that's going to hit.
Okay.
Don't even have to pretend.
And that is going to be 16 points of damage.
Damn.
And that's going to knock off one of my... We said we had 10, correct? 10
That's
of those
correct.
bolts.
By the way, why don't
All
you
right.
roll the d20 again just one more time? Let's just see if somebody gets that hard 20 out of that motherfucker.
That is a 7.
Oh.
So that's still going to be lower than what I originally rolled.
Yeah. Do you want to move? Are you going to stick around? What do you want to do?
I'm going to stick around.
Father Tome.
Dempsey, where are you? Dempsey, I'm like calling out, screaming for Dempsey. Dempsey, give me a ping on the map, please. You're next to the dragon, right?
He looks at. He's like, I'm.
The
He's like,
voice echoes from the skull.
I'm a little busy, father. I'm a little busy.
I'm yelling, "Where are you? Where are you?" With all the just the chaos of this dragon. The father has kind of lost track of where everybody is. Takes him a moment. He focuses, concentrates for a moment, and looks at east of him and has a clear view of where everybody's at. I'm going to move forward from my position about 15 feet.
To the east.
To the east. Yeah, I'm going to move 15 feet to the east, just on the other side of the the tusk of the dragon skull. And I'm going to cast Healing Word on my party member, Dempsey. and you shall be healed for 8 points of damage, my friend.
Thank you.
Or 8 points of health, not damage.
Well, if I was any other type of DM, I might be upset that you healed him, but it's okay.
Ooh.
What else there, Padre?
I'm good. I used my move action and my spell action, so I'm done.
It's I gotta tell what Dempsey does on this sword.
It was a long sword, wasn't it?
Yes, it is. It's a +3 Dragonbane transformative longsword. The Dragonbane adds +2 to the +3, making it +5 against dragons. It is I think it's 1d8 one-handed and 1d10 two-handed.
Two-handed.
Yeah, so that's where you get the 1d10 from.
Okay.
But don't forget the Dragonbane and that it's already a +3, so it gives you +5. Heinrich, you see the Padre come out from behind his hidden tusk. Give a little love to Dempsey. And then you now actually see that this dragon has landed on the ground. Dropped his invisibility to do some love. What you gonna do, Heinrich?
We'll move here.
Heinrich.
Heinrich. And then blast it with the chromatic orb. We will have to choose what power. Let's do. I will roll. Looks like we are doing electricity. Send him to the chair.
The Green Dragon Miles.
Yes, so the
Oh
chromatic
my God.
orb.
I'm real tired, boss.
+7 to hit.
7?
+7.
On
that's
what?
For the chromatic orb. Hold on. I must roll now. We only hit with a 19.
No, you don't. I'm sorry.
When we
sweet
miss with a
mother.
19.
There you go.
The fiery bolt of electricity flies past and this dragon dodges it.
Just laughs. Laughs at your electricity ball. Go back to Tesla. You have to do it right. Dempsey.
All right. So for the first time since he stepped foot on this, he's wielding a weapon, and he has this, just looks like a katana in his hand. He kind of spins it around like Conan, and he's like, "It's time to die." Now follow with me, because this is going to be a shitload of attack. All right.
I'm looking
So-
forward to it.
Oh, my friend. So that's going to be a 23 to hit.
That one will hit.
All right.
Yes.
I'm going to put a precision attack into this to make it. Oh, I will not, because I already hit, so fuck him. All right. So D8 plus 6.
Was it one-handed or two-handed?
That was one-handed.
Okay.
So he's going to take 11.
Okay.
Just comes down flat on like the side of this guy's face into one of his eyes. Now, 5th level, I get a second attack.
Hold that second.
Nice.
Moment you hit him, you see his head rear back as one of his fingers goes up, and you see these hellish flames emit from his hand the moment you hit him. And I need for you to make a dex save as he gives you this hellish rebuke for striking him.
Oh. That is a 19 on the dice, so that's going to be a 21.
You're going to take half this then.
Well done, Dempsey.
Oh, it's not bad at all. 3 points of damage. Nothing. Continue.
Does he lose his spell from the getting hit? The sphere?
What's that?
Does he lose the spell from getting hit? The flaming sphere?
I need to make a concentration check on that. No. The sphere
Okay.
is still hanging out.
And so on the second one, I had an 11 on the dice. I rolled a precision attack. I'm using a maneuver. So that gives me 15 plus a 12. So that's like a 27.
That's going to hit as well.
All right. Oh, that's a 6. So 12 damage, slice. And then I'm going to use second wind. Do another attack. And that is a 3. I think that's going to miss. Let me throw another maneuver into this. It's an 8. So 11 plus 12 is going to be a 23.
That's gonna hit. How many of these
Fuck you,
fucking
Dragon.
bullshit maneuvers you
Hell.
got?
I'm using
Hey,
everything,
let's just pull
motherfucker.
over.
And then I will
else.
use the laser beams.
The 12. All right.
This is why you can't keep people on the show, because you make shit up along the way.
Hey, man, it's good. It's all for the show.
Trying
It's
to
all
keep
for
the
audience.
bloodthirsty DM at bay.
All right, so that's 12 more points of damage. He's just slicing this thing up like cheese. All right, final attack. That's going to be a 10. I'm throwing my last precision into it. 15 plus 12, 27.
Points of damage or to hit?
That's 27 to hit, and then it's 11 points of damage.
11 points of damage.
I envision the scene in League of Extraordinary Gentlemen when Captain Nemo is in front of the guy that has taken Hyde's potion, and he's just slicing like Superman.
Dempsey's like, just because I never use a sword didn't mean I don't know how.
Dempsey, as you twirl this blade around, sizzling this dragon from left to right to up to down to left to right, you begin to see the light in his eye dim greatly. Describe for me and the listeners
Oh my god.
how you finish off this green dragon with all these strokes of luck.
So with the last hit, he's doing these little like pansy hits, and he just really quietly, he's like, "Father, guide my hand," and he grabs the thing's horn and he pulls it down. And as he's pulling it down, he's pushing the sword up, and it just goes straight up into this thing's skull. And he leads it down to the ground. And he says, "Is that all you've got?" And he's just breathing. You just see that chest.
Basically just flipped his off switch.
Yep.
The whole field goes quiet except for the slight wind going over the ankle high weeds and grass on this moist earth. The last light of the day completely blinks out. Done. It's almost like the closing of a curtain on a play. You guys are bathed in darkness. There's no moon out tonight. Dragon isn't even grown. It's just done. What would you guys like to do?
I must collect my baroness.
Yes, we should get back to the town. I think Dempsey takes off his helm and slides the sword out. And you just see him, he just turns, he starts like kind of wiping it, but he starts, gathering up with the other guys. We should check on the town. That's a good idea.
Tommy falls to his knees and puts his hands into his face and starts to cry. He has been so overcome with just adrenaline since he has come to this group, as kind of aid to his fallen brother Flint. It has been a whirlwind since he began this journey with them, and he weeps for a moment, and then he composes himself, and then stands back up and goes to Dempsey, places his hand on Dempsey's shoulder. "My friend, you have valiantly fought here today. You have saved us and Belhaim."
He's like, we all did. And it's one of those things where like, I think we're all kind of, I imagine that we're all gathered up and like those hands just go around everybody. And like, just that group hug where we're like so happy to be still alive and bleeding.
The football huddle.
Still alive and bleeding. I'm happy. Can't believe it. Need more blood.
I'm hugging you, but I'm hitting you.
Dempsey, you have caused great inspiration. Many songs will be written about you. I'll make sure of it. And as saying that, Balladeer actually wants to go and get like a dragon claw to like show as proof of what Dempsey has accomplished.
Yeah, go and cut that fucker off. And as you go over and you're cutting that off,
Oh shit.
make a either an investigation check or an insight check.
All right. I'm going to do insight. And that is going to be a 13.
You see that this is a small dragon compared to what you see the skeletal remains of behind you that's partially in the Iskander Creek. Make a history check as well.
Okay, 18.
Dude, with some fucking excitement behind it.
Sorry,
I'm asking you to go
sorry.
down in the third, for fuck's sake.
Sorry, I just didn't know what would pass. All right. Valid deal with 18.
18. You remember the stories of a Teparax being this massive dragon. This massive black dragon, in fact. This is not a massive black dragon. This is like a medium-sized green dragon. Doesn't look like black dragon at all. All this goes through your mind as you cut his toe off.
I hate to inform you guys, but the Teparax was more of the darker shade, more of a black dragon. This, to comparison, is quite small.
What do you mean? It seems plenty big. You think it's
Ooh.
different?
It's plenty big, but I think this might have been trial run for what we might expect.
Have we not completed our task?
By the looks of dragon, yeah.
I would
We
like
need-
to say that you have completed your task indeed, my friends. And you just now notice an individual coming up. He's wearing these gaudy red leather pants with the brown vest, with a large hat with a blue feather stuck in
Feather
it.
motherfucker. All right.
And you recognize him as Clossier. And he says, I believe that you are looking too deep into something. And he takes off his hat as though to bow, and you see his face and everything begin to shimmer and change into like a normal, another individual, basically, as though it had been some kind of disguise that he had been wearing. And he looks at you, and he's a rough-looking man, scraggly beard. His pants are just in tatters. He still has that rapier on his side, and he says, Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Asmerkel. This was indeed the dragon that was passing itself off as a Teparax. Its name was Sanji, though. I'm sorry for the ruse earlier with the auction and whatnot, but unfortunately, this piece of shit worm had held my pregnant wife, Rima, hostage. It saddens me to say that both my wife and unborn child were slaughtered before Sanji sent his fire drakes and minions to Belheim. I don't know what I was thinking making a deal with such a demonic entity, but I was asked to help keep the ruse up of him being a Teparax.
You son of a bitch. That's good.
How dare you? Yeah, Dempsey he's just moved to tears at this guy's story. And like Father was saying, the adrenaline that's pumping through these guys, I think the emotions are just running high. So hearing about some pregnant woman and the kid that got murdered, he's probably moved to tears as well. Sorry for your loss. I mean, I hate to say we can move on, but that's a horrible thing to leave behind.
I don't understand how anyone could move on past something like this, though. She was my future. She held my future in her bosom. And... Continue on, well, old man.
Did she have a sister? No.
Where's the mute button?
Do you think there's still trouble at Belheim? Do we need to be about it? Are there more of these things?
I left Belheim I was hoping to, at one point, get a final dying death shot, even if it killed me with this Sanji. But when I left Belhaim, I noticed that a lot of the flying minions and drakes had got their bellies full of cowardice individuals after basically razing the town. I don't believe there's much left of it, though. I never could find the Baroness or anybody else. I think it's a waste. The whole town is wasted.
Tommy is looking. He's looking in his pockets for his holy symbol, and he asks for everybody to gather around. And he's going to say, lead everybody in a prayer for the loss of Belhaim, the loss of Classier's child and wife, all of our fallen friends like Flint. And this goes on for 3 or 4 minutes of this prayer, hoping to ease all of our feelings of guilt or anger.
Well, thank you, Father. I don't know how that will help the living. I can see that healing the dead, but the division is just too great. I will be taking my leave of the 4 of you. And he turns and he starts moving further north and actually leaving this wide open area.
I still think I'd like to get a look at the town. I mean, if there's any people we can help, that's, an honorable thing to do.
I must return the Baroness to her home. What's left?
Father, Valadir, will you come with us? Continue the journey. Let's go look at Belhaim and ensure there's no one else that needs our assistance.
Of course. And while we stop by, let's see if we pick up gold on way.
I shall. Put me in the direction.
So it takes you several hours to make your way back to Belhaim. You find yourself on the old quarry road. You pass by that large quarry where you originally fought those kobolds so long ago. And in fact, I don't think any of you did. You heard tales of a fight with kobolds and other heroes that the Baroness had once requisitioned. And Heinrich, you remember that the Baroness had sent them out there to expunge the town of this kobold threat. Eventually, you find yourselves making your way past the burned down, collapsed witch tower, past Hunclay's manor, past the Baroness's manor, and you find yourselves crossing the bridge into Belhaim, which basically looks like something out of just a worn, torn, desolate place. You see that there is no roof on any structure that hasn't been lit afire, let alone the majority of the structures have actually been brought down to cinder. Very few people move through the streets, maybe 2 or 3 people at the most. You see them wandering around almost in shock. You see no horses, no dogs, but you hear a banging in the distance somewhere in town. Sounds like it's coming from the direction of the Wise Piper Inn. You just hear this banging. Ting, ting, ting.
Like
Ting,
the
ting.
blacksmith?
It sounds like a hammer falling on metal.
It's like the bartender is always the last person to get killed in the movies. Yep. All right, we should go check that out.
You make your way along the street. You do come to Bacchus's smithy. And you see Big Bull Brachus standing over his anvil. He's got one arm in a sling and he's swinging this hammer down. Ting, 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 ting. On a sword. The sword is beyond being forged. You know, when you strike a metal so many times, it actually starts curling up. And you'd almost have to replunge it into the crucible one more time and get this thing heated back up to redo something. And then he's just beating this thing and he's just in a zone. Ting, 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 ting. All around him you see his helpers, Huey, Dewey, Louie, and Clyde. The half-orcs are all dead. He's all by himself.
Bacchus, are you all right?
Oh, look at who it is. It's the heroes. Hey, you still need me to get you into that chest. I could still do that for you, at least. I may be a little winged here, and you notice it now as he's holding up his arm. He's missing all of his fingers off of his hand. It's basically a stump. You see that his arm is just shredded up from the elbow down, almost as though it's been put in a lion's cage, and the whole thing just peeled back like hot taffy in the sun. I could still do this. What can I get you boys? What do you need? You need something else? Another sword? Another grappling hook? What can I get for you?
I think it's time to put down the hammer. You've earned it, obviously.
I can't. I promised them I'd keep them safe. I promised their mother. And now look at me.
We all did our best.
The hammer just drops into the soft dirt at his feet. And he just stares. 1,000-mile stare right into this sword. As you guys watch him, Heinrich, in your arms you have the remains of the Baroness wrapped up in a cloak. Father was kind enough to give you his apparel to wrap her up in. What would you like to do with the Baroness's body?
I must take her to have her be buried with her family.
And you know that's far to the north, up by Last Wall. Could take you weeks to get up there. Certainly
That is
dangerous.
a trip I must do. It's for the Baroness.
And it's dangerous as all hell. Whole land is overrun by orcs.
All right. I think I know some peoples that may help when things have cooled down here. Gentlemen, I must take the Baroness to be buried. Maybe you might come with me. And the group sees Heinrich has sort of reverted back to that older gentleman butler. He's no longer the old seasoned adventurer warrior that you saw in the battlefield. The toll has also been taken on Heinrich. And though he still has the rapier at his side and the fine chain armor you see under his garb, the loss of the Baroness has taken its toll on him, as well as with the town.
If you're leaving, I'll come with you. I'd best be on my way as well. I think my business here is done.
Don't think there's much left for me in this town. I shall accompany you as well. Besides, the people need to know what has happened here.
My friends, I must head back to my temple. I must speak of the courageous acts that Flint perpetrated here amongst these fine adventurers.
Father, ride with us to the crossroads. And then perhaps a little more. We'll get you where you need to be.
I thank you. Thank you, Dempsey.
When he's singing these songs, he's not going to be singing just songs about me. He's going to be singing songs about all of us. Because it took all of our hands in this one. He like looks at
yours.
Bacchus and he's like, "Ugh, especially that one." Oh.
Heinrich looks to the blacksmith. Do you wish to go with us? We could use someone like you in case the wagon wheel breaks. We could use your skills.
I appreciate it. You see a glint in his eye. Yeah, why not? Let's get this, let's do this right. He reaches down in the dirt, grabs the hammer. Let's do this, boys. And ironically, as your procession begins to head north, you actually make your way out of Belhaim, going up Devi Road, the Baroness's last name. And that is where we bring the Dragon's Demand to a finale.
Yeah.
Well done, guys.
Out.
We must go back for gold. I'm not going empty-handed.
Cue the Huey Lewis and the News soundtrack.
Yeah, we must. There's a lot of fallen bodies back there. We must
Good.
loot them. Loot
I
them.
want to. Could we have saved?
Looking for some teeth there, Heinrich? Thank you for joining us once again on Roll the Hard 20 podcast. Remember, you can find us and subscribe to the show on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, iHeart Radio, Amazon Podcasts, and Audible. And if you like what you're listening to, leave us that 5-star rating and review. We also have a YouTube channel at Roll the Hard 20, so if you're into watching, head on over and hit that subscribe bell. We can also be found in the wild on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, so don't forget to look for us there and check us out. You can also contact the show directly at rollthehard20podcast@gmail.com or head on over to the website at rollthehard20podcast.com, where you can download the current show directly, pick and choose past shows from our archives, or view our galleries. We've got a lot of stuff posted there, so check us out. And finally, join us on our Patreon page at patreon.com/rollthehard20podcast, where you can become a hard slinger and pick up swag. So until next session, keep your dice warm and your glass topped off as you roll those hard 20s.